14 in a row?
It's good. We were just trying to go 1-0 today. We have the utmost respect for Belmont. You know, they've been a program we've been chasing for a long time, and that championship pedigree that they have. Bart's one of the best coaches you ever go up against. So, you know, we knew they were going to be physical. We knew they were going to be tough, and it was going to be a hard-fought game. I thought we played some of our best basketball in the first half, just ball movement, shots, defense, rebounding. Had 12 offensive boards in the first half, and you never want halftime to come because you just know that that's going to kind of take away that momentum. But a credit to them, they ramped up their energy, they ramped up their pressure, and we struggled with it. And we made some bad decisions and took some bad shots, but, you know, we bent, but we didn't break. And I think that's what this team's been about this year, just that grind that we talk about every single day.
You know, you mentioned Belmont, you know, always being that standard as far as what you guys are chasing. You mentioned in past interviews as well. To have a 3-game winning streak against them, when you look at the history of this rivalry, it's been pretty one-sided. Do you look back and reflect on that much, or do you just still kind of keep it a 1 game at a time mentality?
Just a 1 game at a time mentality, but like I said, you know, a lot of people don't like to admit that you know, that they have other people in their league that they look at and they're like, okay, we need to get there. We need to be talked about like they are. Well, Belmont's been that team, and you know, being as good a coach as Bart's something, you know, that I've strived to do and build his program, you know, that could compete with them. And I feel like that, you know, we finally done that, and I think there's a lot of mutual respect there. But you know, this win is no different than any of the other ones. It was Game 7. We had to get it. It doesn't get any easier. We got to go to Iowa and play 8 and 9. So we'll just focus on what's next.
Rechelle, there's been maybe a handful of games where they've beaten y'all over the years where y'all may have won turnovers, or points off turnovers and second chance points. You really dominated them in both of those today.
We did. I think the 3 categories that we go into almost every single night, but especially against a team like this, is you got to win the battle of the threes, you got to win the battle of the frees, and you got to win the rebounding battle. And we won all of those battles. And I know, you know, 8 of 31 is not great, but all 8 counted and all 8 mattered. And our kids got to the free throw line and made free throws late to help, you know, keep their run, slow their run down. But I thought the rebounding effort today was extra special, and us to be able to get out and run and get what we wanted in transition off of those rebounds. The relentless effort on the offensive boards really gave us a huge lift today.
Also, just notice this. Y'all actually had 1 more turnover than they did, yet you outscored them 11 points and points off turnovers.
Yeah, I felt like that we were able to turn their turnovers into points because of our pace of play. You know, they're going to do a lot of different things to you. They can play fast, they can play slow, they can play zone, they can play man, they can play big, they can go small. I mean, they have a lot of options. And then obviously they were out without one of their best players. I don't think we can overlook, you know, Jalen Banks not being out there. She makes a world of difference on both sides of the ball. So, you know, this time of year everybody goes through that. You know, we've got some injuries on our team, but our kids are playing through it. So I think it's just something that you just have to continue to pray about each and every night, that, you know, God gives your team health, because we know it takes every single one of our players to get the job done.
Coach, that was the first time in 14 years that Belmont has not hit a single 3 in a game. What have you liked about your defense and the growth that they've had just throughout the course of this season?
Well, you know, my assistant coach is doing an amazing job with Scout. And, you know, we talk through how to take away certain actions and how to take away certain things. But that's all we can do, is we can talk and show. It's the players out there doing it. It's not shortcutting a screen. It's fighting over a screen. It's icing a cut. It's making a switch at the right time to keep those threes from going up. They only got 4 off in the first half. That was one of the things I was most proud of. And then to be able to hold them 0 for 10 for the game is huge. 41% of their shots come from 3. And if you look at their box scores, most nights they're making anywhere from 8 to 11. Well, that's the difference in the game. So really impressed with our kids being able to lock in defensively and to keep that from being a weapon for them tonight.
Speaking of your defense, you held them almost 8 minutes without a field goal for a stretch from the third quarter into the fourth quarter. What were y'all able to do with them in that point that you think you were able to affect them the way you did?
Well, we decided that, and Fuller's a great player, but we decided that she could get whatever she could get. You know, she was 8 of 13 at halftime. She was scoring at will, right hand, left hand, but we didn't figure she could beat us alone. So, you know, we really locked in on the outside and tried to lock in on, again, giving up threes. We we did a really good job of not fouling for a very long time. Then all of a sudden we fouled every trip down the floor. But I just think the kids really, really locked in on what we were trying to do and understood the assignment, and all the credit goes to them for their having a great attitude and work ethic throughout the game of following the scout.
Certainly a tale of two halves tonight, Coach. Obviously, you said that first half was, some of the best basketball you played. Going into the third quarter, only shot 5 for 23. What were you telling your team in the huddles during those timeouts? I could feel your energy from up there at the media table, but what were you telling them specifically to kind of get them through that?
We're just talking about next play mentality. But I thought we took some bad shots. I thought we made some bad decisions, kind of uncharacteristically. We really wanted them to get downhill and get 2 feet in the paint and create some stuff out of there because they were collapsing really hard, and we were settling a little bit. But we just talked about not letting the moment be bigger than it is. Just staying the task at hand. That's what we talked about before the game, and then I really reiterated it in the third and fourth quarter. Just control what you can control, do what has gotten you here, and don't go away from it. And I thought we settled back in and made some big plays.
What do you like about the adjustment, especially on the glass, from the SIU game to today?
Well, we challenged their toughness a little bit after the SIU game. You just got cleaned on the glass. It was embarrassing, really, for us to get just taken out like that and not really give great effort. So we challenge them. A lot of times, you have to get at them a little bit, and you have to make sure that they understand the importance of that we're the tougher team. And I just felt like tonight that the effort on the glass was relentless. It was what we talked about. It was what it had to be. And but it wasn't just our post players. Our guards were in there rebounding, and that's what you got to have. You got to have all 5 people on the floor willing to go in and battle because they're a very, very physical team.
You also did something very hard to do in that fourth quarter. I think y'all had only 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the quarter. Y'all restarted the engine somehow and got home. Talk about how y'all were able to show the toughness to score down the stretch.
Well, there's a reason we're ahead. Do what got you here. Don't go away from it. Don't put your head down. We don't have time to pout. We don't have time to do anything but next play mentality. And we just reminded them in the huddle that be about who we are. You cannot let the last play affect the next play. And I thought our kids kind of snapped out of it, and we were able to make some calls that got our kids in space. It allowed them to make some shots.
Return game to UNI on Friday. Obviously, the last time had to pull a pretty good comeback after halftime. So what's the message to the team as you guys look ahead to that?
UNI and Drake are 2 of the hardest places to play in the Valley. So we have a massive road trip ahead of us. UNI is a great team, well coached. They're going to be ready for us. We were able to finally win both those games last year, and I think it kind of cemented our place being in the conversation. And you got to go take them. It's hard to win on the road, especially there, but we've got to figure out a way. But I believe our kids will get rested in the next couple days. I'm going to go recruiting. A couple of our other coaches are going to go recruiting, so we'll let them get their legs back under them, and we'll get back to work in Wednesday and Thursday and hopefully have a great game plan and execute and be ready for a tough weekend.
How important is it to know you have the knowledge that you can win up there? You did prove it last year.
Oh, I think that helps. Confidence for sure to know that you can go into those places and win. But we also know that this year's different. Their team's not the same. Our team's not the same. Situation's not the same. And, I don't know how some of the games played out today. I haven't had a chance to look, but UNI's right there. And so it's going to be an important game as far as the standings go. But we'll treat it like Game 8. And we'll focus on it and try to go 1-0 that day. And then we'll travel to Drake and try to do the same.
That stretch that Hallie had there in the second quarter, what's it like for you as a coach to watch someone really take over a stretch like that?
Yeah, she can be so unbelievable. It's just like you're like watching a highlight reel. She could just go off. She can do so many things. She can make shots. She could get downhill, make some of the craziest ones. You're like, no. Oh, great, great shot. Exactly like we drew it up. And then she'll tell you sometimes she could just go downhill and snowball into a bad stretch. So sometimes she's kind of streaky, but she plays the game hard. She goes at it relentlessly. She tries really, really hard. Sometimes a little bit too hard. In certain situations, especially when Hay was in foul trouble a little bit, and she felt like that she had to take over. But hey, I'm glad she's on our team because she's a winner.
Thoughts on the crowd tonight?
It was just unbelievable. Appreciate the the tweets that you put out and other people put out, making sure everybody knew this game was going on today. But, Racer Nation doesn't understand how much our young women appreciate it. I mean, it really, really is something that they just are overwhelmed by. It seems like every single night that we play, we have more fans, and having the alumni here was awesome. I got to even see some people that I played with, and obviously some people I coached, and some people that I remember admiring, along the way. But this program wasn't just built in the last several years. This program's been being built for a long time, and everyone that wore the Navy and gold has a part to do with it, and all the coaches and players that have come through here. But just want to encourage the fans to keep staying behind this team, because it means a great deal. We got 2 really good basketball teams at Murray State this year. Our men are on fire, and they're doing well, and you need to get behind Coach Miller and this group. They got a chance to go a long way and make a lot of noise, even past the Missouri Valley Conference Championship into the NCAA tournament. And I feel like that our young women are worth the watch. So really like to everybody continue to come out and support both teams, and understand that this community is great, and it can be even greater if we can have both teams playing really well, playing hard, and in front of a packed house every night.